So the Bulls played their first game post the NBA trade deadline, the first of the next 30 games, which is almost becoming a meme term at this point with how many times we heard AK say that in his press conference, as well as in his one-on-one interview with Casey Johnson of CHSN, which is also a pretty horrendous of an interview if you had a chance to catch it. But they come into the first game and arguably gave one of the most epic tanking losses I've seen in my time following this organization. Not sure it was intentional, but either way, when you have a 24-point lead in the third quarter and you end up losing by 21 points, that is a collapse of epic proportions. And yeah, I know Steph is going to Steph and there's not much you can do when he's on one like that, but this wasn't like you got out to a big lead early in the game and the Warriors slowly chipped away at it throughout the entirety of the 48 minutes. No, the Bulls were up 80-57. So apologies, 23 points, not 24. They went up 80-57 after that deep three from Kobe with 9:07 left in the third. By the end of the third quarter, the Warriors had a 3-point lead. And after that, you knew the game was over. Like, even though at that time the game was still within reach, only being down by 3 points, but when you blow a lead that quickly, and Steph is just firing on all cylinders, Jimmy Butler, who wasn't even playing that much in the third quarter, yeah, you knew that it was done. And it really didn't get any better from that point on, as the Warriors not only erased that massive lead, they swung that around and took a 25-point lead themselves in the fourth quarter. The Warriors were on a 56-13 run at one point. I've never seen anything like that before. Yes, I'm sure it's happened in NBA history, but I personally haven't seen anything like that where you see such a massive swing in a game in such a short period of time. But hey, this is what a lot of you guys wanted, right? You wanted this team to lose as many games as possible for the rest of the season to get that high draft pick. Like, I was almost bracing for the comment section in my Twitter feed of fans going off on the Bulls winning this game and what are they doing? Why are they winning a pointless game? Well, Billy Donovan said, hold my beer. Why he left Kevin Huerter in that game for that long in the third quarter was beyond me. Why he wasn't calling timeouts or making adjustments when the Warriors started lighting them up isn't something I can understand. Outside of, well, maybe it doesn't make sense to win this game and we'll just kind of see how this plays out. Now, for the record, I don't think the Bulls intentionally lost this game. I'm not saying that for the players or even for the coaching staff. They're just not a good team and had no idea how to stop the bleeding when they don't have a veteran leader out there on the court. And no, sorry to say, Vucevic is not that guy, and he's really the only veteran out there, with Lonzo Ball missing this game due to an illness. That's why I found it bizarre that AK said Vucevic was going to be a great voice and mentor to these young guys after they ended up keeping him at the trade deadline. That's not the vibe I get from Vucevic at all, and he's certainly not that type of player where he can just take over a game when an opposing team is going on a run, that's for sure. I was trying to see if I could pinpoint what exactly happened that led to this collapse, and I don't know if you can really pin it on one specific thing, because the Bulls, after hitting that three that put them up 80-57, they had some bad fouls, the game slowed down a bit, they had some careless turnovers, and the shots, they weren't going down anymore. Like some insane shots that were falling down, those shots no longer started to fall. And rather than try and set up some plays, move without the ball, cut to the basket, the Bulls were just kind of all over the place and couldn't buy a basket. I mean, the Bulls were shooting the ball actually pretty well going into the third, over 50% from the field, or 55% from three. They were moving the ball well, and that all just stopped. And then also, very similar to their last game against the Timberwolves, an inordinate amount of offensive rebounds for the Warriors to give them second chance points. 16 offensive rebounds for the Warriors in total to the Bulls 6. The Bulls rebounding in this game was horrible. 31 rebounds in total. Vucevic, he looks pretty checked out, which is really disappointing because it's only going to hurt his trade value going into the offseason if he's going to close out the season like this, going up against a small Warriors team, and he goes 4 for 11, 10 points, and just 4 rebounds. I mean, I'm sure he's frustrated that he has to stay on this young team when he's clearly not going to be a part of the team's future, but it just sucks for the Bulls because he's still getting a lot of minutes and taking that away from the young guys and negatively impacting the game when he's actually out on the floor. And then Jalen Smith, he was actually playing well in this game too. Only played 19 minutes, but had 15 points, was 4 for 5 from 3, was a +6 when he was in there. Look, I mean, really the only positives to take away from this game were Modest Buzelis and Kobe White. Modest gets another start. He was attacking, not afraid to go toe-to-toe with the loose cannon Draymond Green. He was getting Draymond worked up by being physical back with him, wasn't backing down. I loved every minute of that. And once again, another game where he puts up double figures. Tonight he finished with 16 points and got most of his points on the inside, by the way. Was 6 for 10 from the field, 4 rebounds, but also showing off some of his playmaking, which we've seen bits and pieces of so far this season. Tonight, 5 assists, also a steal and a block. Then Kobe, team high, 27 points, 7 for 12, 6 for 9 from 3. He was feeling in that first half and beginning of that third quarter until everything just kind of fell apart from there, but that really went for everybody, not just Kobe. I really need to see Kobe do a better job defensively though. Like, I know he's not a good defender. He will likely never be a good defender, and he's limited with his shorter wingspan, but one thing I liked seeing from Kobe last season was his effort on that end of the floor. Like, it was noticeable that he was at least trying on defense. And yeah, we've seen it a little bit here and there this season, but it's been very inconsistent. And it's a big reason why you saw the Warriors go at Kobe and taking over this game to get back into it. But yeah, I mean, outside of seeing those two, because like I said, the rest of the season is really going to be more about watching how these young guys develop, more so than the wins and the losses itself. But outside of those two, and sorry, no, I should add Jalen Smith, who played a very solid game, just wasn't in there for very long. But yeah, other than that, nothing to get too excited about. Giddey was okay, missed a lot of shots. He was better on defense in this game though. Ayo, somewhat of an underwhelming game. He also had 4 turnovers and wasn't as aggressive as you would like to see, in him getting downhill in transition, which is where he's at his best. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't consider this to be a good loss or a fun loss, because to me a good loss is where you're seeing great things from the young players, more so than just 1 or 2 of them. And it would have been a lot different had the Bulls just kept this a close game and a competitive game throughout and then lost at the end. It's a very different story when you go up big like that and see a 50-point swing in a matter of 15 minutes. I guess we'll see how the rest of these 29 games go though, huh? The Bulls are off until Tuesday, so another extended break before they take on the Detroit Pistons, which is now actually a tough team to go up against. Anyway, let me know what you guys thought of this weird, horrible game. Let me know in the comments. As always, be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.